Respected audience, today I am going to initiate discussion on an entirely different topic, that is the topic of guardianship under Muslim personal law. The concept of guardianship and custody in fact have played a vital role in the personal laws of India for decades. Both the guardianship and custody are not the new concept for India. Guardianship and custody both have played a vital role in the development of a child. India as a country is home of the different religion. All the religions follow their own personal laws and have given the due weightage to the guardianship as well as custody of the child, because the welfare of the child is the core element of the guardianship and custody provisions, whether they are under Islamic law, Hindu law, Parsi law or Christian laws. Reason is that the minor children are supposed to be a natural gift of the parent to the parents. They are also known as the angels of the God and very natural future human resource to a developing and developed human society. Therefore, law of the nature demands that children who are unable to take care of their own interest due to their tender age or immaturity of the mind should be under the care and protection of any mature member or person of his or her family or society. The person having the care and protection over the person and property of minor is in the language of law basically known as guardian of the minor. The jurisprudential basis of law of guardian basically can be traced in the Holy Quran, that is the fundamental source of Muslim law, and that is laid down under the various verses of the Holy Quran. The seed of the concept of the guardianship as well as of the custody according to the Muslim law basically is rooted in few verses of the Holy Quran, that is chapter 4 verse 2, verse 6 and verse 156 of the Holy Quran basically have given rise to the concept of custody and guardianship with regard to a minor child. Since law of the guardianship, as we have seen, is mainly based on the fundamental sources of Muslim law, that is on the Holy Quran, as well as some of the sayings of the Holy Prophet. Therefore, there has been little room for differences or difference of opinion between Shia and Sunni school in this branch of Islamic jurisprudence. The post-divorce or marriage annulment proceeding, meaning thereby that after the dissolution of the marriage, the most vital sensitive and contested issue or that arise are those that are related to the guardianship and custody of a minor. Means when there has been a dispute between the father and mother, that is between the spouses, and a dispute has been of such a grave nature that has led to the separation or dissolution of the marriage, then immediately after the dissolution of the marriage, if the spouses were having the child or children, then the next point of the dispute or contest that arise normally between the parents, that is between the separating spouses, that is normally relating to the guardianship and custody of the child born out of the wedlock before the dissolution of the marriage. Who shall be entitled to the who shall be the guardian of the child after the separation or dissolution of the marriage or divorce, as the case may be, and who shall have immediately custody over the child after the divorce or the dissolution of the marriage. So, this is a very natural consequence of the dispute leading to the dissolution of marriage. This is that when the spouses have fallen out and determined to separate, and they have separated by means of the divorce or dissolution of the marriage, immediately thereafter another dispute arises or contest arise between the parties. Husband or the husband, who happens to be the father also of the child, he claims that he is the best person to have the custody of the child. Means the child should be placed in his care or protection. At the same time, the mother claims that she is the best suited person in the given circumstance, having regard to the interests of the child, and therefore custody of the child should be entrusted to her as one of the parents best suited to take care of the child. Therefore, it becomes inevitable and necessary to know what is the meaning of the term guardianship and what is the meaning of the term custody. Are they one and same, interchangeable, or they are having the different legal connotation or meaning? Therefore, the students of the law should be clear what is the concept or meaning of the word guardianship in context of a minor child or a child who is unable to take care of his person or property due to the attending facts and circumstances, that is because of the being differently abled, mentally immature, whatever may be the reasons. So, in that very circumstance, in case of the dispute between the parties leading to the separation by dissolution of marriage, question is always before the court: who is the guardian of the person and property of the minor, and who shall be entitled immediately to the custody of the child, having regard to the personality development of the child, which is his or fundamental natural right. Therefore, concept of guardianship and concept of custody should be clear to the students of law. Since I am dealing with the guardianship under Muslim law, therefore first of all I would like to clarify meaning of the guardianship with reference to the or in context of Muslim personal law. Ladies and gentlemen, as all of you know that the body of Muslim personal law, including the guardianship and custody, basically are based on the fundamental sources, that is Holy Quran and the saying of the Holy Prophet, which are normally in the language Arabic language. Therefore, in Arabic language, guardianship is known as wilayat and guardian is known as wali of the minor. In the language of law, it implies a guardians, that is the guardianship implies the person having the guardian implies the person having the responsibility to take care of the person as well as the property of minor in his custody. Therefore, in a very simple language, a guardian means a person who is having the responsibility or given the responsibility by law not only to have the control over the person in day-to-day matter, or who is not only responsible to take care of the interests of the child, minor child, in day-to-day affairs, but at the same time the person who is having the responsibility to take a rational decision with a view to protect and promote the overall interests and the welfare of the child for his future, in future perspective. Sir Abdul Rahim, a celebrated authority on Muslim law, has made a sincere effort to define or explain as to what is the meaning of the term guardianship. According to him, guardianship is a right to control the movement and action of a person who, owing to mental defect, is unable to take care of himself and to manage his own affairs. For example, an infant, an idiot, a lunatic. It extends to the custody of the person and the power to deal with the property of the world. Very practical definition of the guardianship has been given by Sir Abdul Rahim that I have referred to here for the audience to be clear about the guardianship of the person as well as the property of a minor. The term guardian has also been defined under the secular law enacted by the parliament in a country like India. There is a law or full-fledged law on the subject that is known as Guardians and Ward Act 1890. Under the scheme of the Guardians and Ward Act 1890, there is a provision called as section 4 subclass 2, and this provision specifically deals with guardian. Who is guardian, or what is meant by the expression guardian or guardianship? According to section 4 subclass 2 of the Guardian and Ward Act 1980, person having the care of the person of a minor or his property or both his person and property is a guardian. So, guardian according to section this, then there is another provision of law that is under section 4 subclass B of the Hindu Minority and Guardianship Act 1956. Guardian has been defined, and according to this provision, guardian means person having the care of the person of a minor or his property or of both his person and property. So, if one combines the section 4 subclass 2 of the Guardians and Ward Act 1890, read with section 4 subclass B of the Hindu Minority Guardianship Act 1856, as well as definition of the guardian as framed by Sir Abdul Rahim, one can reach on the conclusion that guardian is a person having the responsibility to take care of the minor child, to take care of the person of the minor as well as the property of the minor. Means anyone who has been given the responsibility by the law to take the rational decision about the person of the minor as well as the property of the minor, such person will be called as guardian of the person as well as the property of minor, or both guardian of the person as well as the property of the minor. Now, the point is, who is minor for the purpose of the guardianship, because guardian can be only of a child who is below the age of prescribed, who is below the prescribed age. According to the law, the word minor in context of the guardianship means the child who has not attained the age of 18 years. So, means any child who is below the age of 18 years will be supposed to be unable to take care of his person and unable to manage his own affairs, unable to take care of his affairs relating to his property. Such person will be treated as minor by law, and such person or child will be required the care and protection of some mature person, that is some grown up person. So, any person of mature age having the responsibility to take the care of the person as well as of the property of a minor or of both, who is below the age of 18 years, will be called as a guardian of the minor child. Therefore, guardian may be defined who is legally responsible not only for having the control over the person and property of minor, but at the same time is required by law to take all the reasonable decisions that can go a long way to protect and promote the overall interests of the minor placed in his care. Ladies and gentlemen, another term used by law is natural guardian, guardian and natural guardian. Natural guardian is slightly different from guardian, and natural guardian means person or guardian who is the person legally presumed to be the caretaker of a minor, who is presumed to be authorized to take all the decisions on behalf of the minor. The word natural guardian is defined under section 6 subclass B and section 13 of the Hindu Minority and Guardianship Act 1956 and section 7 and section 17 of the Guardians and Ward Act 1890. In case of illegitimate minor child or illegitimate unmarried girl, the mother is natural guardian and thereafter the father. Father is the natural guardian of his legitimate children but not illegitimate children. The guardianship in fact refers to the bundle of rights and powers that a guardian is required by law in relation to the person and property of the minor for his or her overall welfare in the given situation. I have already said that in context of a minor child, normally the dispute arises between the fallen out parents or disputing parents on 2 points relating to 2 issues. One is guardianship and other is custody. What is the guardianship? I have tried to explain with reference to the cases as well as the laws. Now, guardianship, custody, word custody is not defined in Muslim law or under any other Indian family law, but the literal meaning of the custody, which is also called as hijanat, is upbringing. Means raising the child, having regard to his interest or her interest, is known as hijanat or custody of a child. In the language of law, the upbringing of a minor child or by someone, the upbringing of the child by someone legally entitled to it is called a right to the custody. So, custody is simply, in simple language, means that any person who is given the responsibility to raise and rear the child or to upbring the child by making the arrangements of all the necessary things which are required in the given circumstances, then such person will be said to have the custody over the child. The legal difference between the custody and the guardianship is that custody is basically a temporary arrangement for the rearing of the child, minor, for and that is for a limited duration, which is normally interested to any close female relation. Preferably it is given to the mother, that is the natural mother of the minor. Whereas the guardianship is a legal right which is vested in the father, and father remains the natural guardian and it remains with the father when the child is under the custody of mother or any female relation. So, custody basically is a right to rear the child by making all the necessary material things which may be necessary for the fullest personality development of the child. Whereas guardianship basically empowers the caretaker to take all the rational decisions which may be indispensable for the promotion and protection of the right of child in relation to his personality development, as well as which are may be necessary for the preservation and protection of the property of. So, custody basically refers to the simply refers to the physical upbringing of the child by making available all the material things uh, uh, which may be necessary for the child, whereas guardianship basically is a broader term, and that refers to the decision making power of the person having the care over the person and property of the child in a broader perspective for overall personality development, overall protection of the interests or welfare of the child. There is a consensus among the companions of the Prophet on the point that in first instance the mother is entitled to the custody of her child, and entitlement of other relatives comes thereafter. There is, however, difference on the point that up to what stage of her son or daughter the mother will be entitled to the custody of the child. So, here I have tried my best to explain the two concepts, that is guardianship and custody of the child. Guardianship, I have tried to also differentiate between the guardianship and the custody, and the basic difference again I say that is between the guardianship and custody is that when the individual is assigned to look after a minor's property, or just the minor or both, and can take the decision on behalf of minor, this is called as guardianship. Whereas the right given to the parent or parents to raise the child or to upbring the child, the right to legally look after and keep the child physically with them or herself is known as custody. So, guardianship is a broader concept, whereas custody is comparatively narrower concept, and the nature of the guardianship includes the responsibility of managing the minor, his property or both, whereas the custody can be changed as per the needs and the demand of the welfare of the child. Hence, the custody can be temporary in nature. Custody is not limited to custody is not limited in nature, whereas the guardianship is not limited in nature. Guardianship automatically comes to an end when the child attains a age as prescribed by the law. Custody also comes to end with the attainment of the majority age, but the duration can also be changed if the custody is given to some other party before the minor reaches to the age of maturity. So, this is all about the guardianship and guardianship and the custody. These are the two concepts, but they are different from each other in terms of their meaning and scope in relation to a minor. Appointment of guardian. Now, how a guardian will be appointed? Because ultimately the guardian is to take care of the person or of the property or of both person and property. Therefore, if there is no one guardian, then somebody must be designated or must be appointed as guardian of a person or of the property or of both person and property. Under Muslim law, no formal appointment, there is no formality for the appointment of guardian by any authority. There is no formal appointment by any authority. The formal appointment by any authority is not necessary according to the Muslim law. The only consideration is whether he is competent and entitled to be a guardian or not. A guardian may be appointed under the Guardians and Ward Act 1890. The application for the appointment may be made not only by a person desiring of being or claiming to be the guardian of minor, but also may be by any relative or friend of the minor. In some cases, reading in between the line of section 17 of the Guardians and Wards Act, it may be very well inferred that even though the court is empowered to appoint the guardian, the application of Muslim law of the guardianship has been by and large preserved in the act which provides. Section 17 is important, in the light of which a guardian is appointed by the court. In appointing or declare, section 17 says that section 17 of the Guardians and Ward Act provides that in appointing or declaring the guardian of a minor, the court shall, subject to the provisions of this section, be guided by what is consistent with the law to which the minor is subjected appears in circumstances to be for the welfare of minor. In appointing the guardian, the court shall consider following points: welfare of the minor, that is the paramount consideration for the court while considering any person for appointing as minor. The age, sex and religion of the minor is also very relevant factor in appointing someone as guardian. Character, capacity of the aunt, nearness of the person with the minor, or if the child has become grown up, then wishes or desire of the child will also be material point for appointment of a guardian. Preference of the minor, if he is old enough to form an intelligent preference. The Guardians and Ward Act defines the guardians as a these are the factors which may be taken into consideration for appointing someone as guardian of the person as well as of the property of a minor. But as such, Muslim law has not given any framework, legal framework as to how a person should be appointed as minor. But lie in parallel systems as well as the judicial decisions have laid down certain parameters which must be taken into consideration while considering someone to be appointed as a guardian of a minor, guardian of the person as well as the property of a minor. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is all about guardianship, custody, difference between guardianship, custody and factors to be taken into consideration for appointing someone as guardian of the person and property of a minor. Thank you very much.